Hello, I'm Vivian McGrath from Unbeatable.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking about finding happiness, how to be happy now. A couple of my beautiful Unbeatable community have asked me to do this post. They said, can you please do a positive video on how to find happiness, but not being about relationships, love, or finding happiness in your career. I love a challenge. So that's what this video is going to be all about, because finding happiness within, finding self-love and a really high self-esteem to the point where your happiness doesn't depend on other people or anything else outside of you, then that is the most powerful position to be in. I'm not saying that I don't get unhappy or I don't have down days. I do. But the difference is how I react to them, how I choose to respond to them. Do I wallow in negativity and stay that way? No. I choose to nurture myself a little bit more, love myself more, and work my way through it until I can be happy again. So without talking about relationships, love, and career, these are my 5 top tips for finding happiness and being happy now. Number 1, surround yourself with positive people. I could tell you a lot about who you are and the way you feel by the 5 people you surround yourself with. Are they people who bring out the best in you, lift you up, support you, enhance you, encourage you to do the best you can and be as successful as you can be? Or are they people who drain you, drain your energy, suck you dry because they lean on you for support so much, but never, ever give anything in return? Are they negative all the time? Are they bitching and moaning about others, you know? They're not good for you. You need people in your life who are going to bring out that the best person you can be, that makes you also loves being around you when you're happy, successful, and not the ones that don't get jealous when you're like that. Look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Secondly, ignore that critical inner voice. We can be our worst enemies. You know, that voice in your head that says, God, you look fat in that. You're so ugly. Why did you say that? You're so stupid. That's what mine used to say. It was terrible. Never used to let up. But it's just not ever going to lead to happiness. And you know what? It's wrong. Your inner voice is just a story. A story you've convinced yourself is the truth, that you're not good enough, that you don't belong, that you are not worthy of those people that you're hanging out with, and you've got to prove yourself, you know. Being a people pleaser, just changing your behavior all the time because you think that's the way you've got to be, and because your inner voice has said you've got to do that because what you did a minute ago was so stupid. It's never going to lead to happiness. So rewrite that story in your head. Every time you hear something critical that you're saying, just call it out and say, I am not stupid. I might have said something a bit dumb, but that doesn't mean I'm stupid. I might be having a bit of a frizzy hair day today. That doesn't mean I'm ugly. Call it out, replace it with something positive. You know, I might be a bit chubby, but you know, I'm funny. People like being around me. I'm quite smart. Positive affirmation to replace the negative inner voice, because the more, even though you don't feel like that today, the more you do that, the more it becomes second nature and the happier and stronger you'll become. The third one is ask yourself 3 questions every day. This hasn't come from me, I won't lie. I read this lovely article once about this couple that used to ask their children 3 questions at the end of every day. And I loved it. I'll put the link below. But the questions are these. How were you brave today? And braveness doesn't have to be jumping off a 6-meter waterfall when you're terrified of heights. It could just mean something really simple as saying no for the first time. When you're terrified of confrontation, you fear confrontation, you always say yes, even though deep down you really want to say no, because you just want to keep the peace. You feel uncomfortable. Saying no for the first time. Finding the courage to do that. Setting that little boundary about what you will and won't accept. I've done another whole video on boundaries. I'll put the link below. But something like that is being brave. And then the next day, setting another boundary. And then setting another. Little by little, that behavior will lead you to feel happier. Because you won't be seething inside saying, why didn't I say no when I really wanted to? Why did I agree to that? That makes you miserable. You know, little steps of bravery like that will help to make you feel stronger and happier. How were you kind today is the second question, which I really, really love, because it's not about changing other people and trying to rescue, save them, change them, whatever. It's just about changing yours. You can't change anybody else anyway, so you just change you. Now, go back to your authentic self, your true core values. You know, if you're like me, you'll value honesty and kindness and respect. So be kind, be respectful, be honest. Walk that straight, honest line, and you'll find that kindness begets kindness, and like attracts like. And the more you do this, the more other people respond the way you would like. You know, it's really interesting. Quite often when you're very critical about other people, it's actually something you don't like within yourself. They're just a mirror reflecting you back at you. So instead of focusing on them and their behavior and obsessing about them, maybe look at it and think, well, do I do that? Is that reflecting something about me? Change you. Be kind yourself. Forget them. Change you, and others will respond to you differently. The third question that they asked their children was, how did you fail today? Which is a brilliant one as well, because failure can knock the feet out from under you. I know I've failed many times in my life. The most spectacular one being almost being murdered when I was 7 months pregnant to the man I married and loved. That was a pretty epic fail. Another one was having to close my dream production company that failed. And you know, I've spent many times curled up fetal crying in a ball on my bed. There's my cat. Those of you who watch my videos know that my cat has to get in on the action every time I do a video. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, so I've had spectacular failures and I've curled up in a ball crying many, many, many times. But the way you look at failure is like Oprah Winfrey says. There's another link I'll put below. There are no such thing as failures, only lessons in life. And what I do now is I take failures and I ask myself, what does that teach me about myself? Why did I end up in that particular failure? And how can I make better choices next time? So if you view failures as opportunities to learn about yourself, improve what you do, then you're going to become stronger. You're going to avoid them next time, and you're going to make better choices in life. And of course, that leads to you being happier because you won't fail as much. So I love those 3 questions. So that's ask yourself 3 questions every day. The fourth is bring something new to the cave every day. I love that. A friend of mine used that expression. And actually that one does refer to relationships. But I will get off that subject in a sec because I promised I wouldn't make it about relationships. But, you know, I've been in a relationship with my husband now for over 30 years. And if you saw us out to dinner, you'd be amazed because we're not one of those couples that have just got to know each other so well that they sit there in silence looking bored. No, we've got heaps to talk about because we bring something home to the cave every day. And what I mean by that doesn't have to apply to relationships. It just means to just keep on educating yourself, keep learning, keep in touch. You know, I read the paper every day. I read books. I keep up with the latest apps, the latest shows everyone's talking about on Netflix. I listen to the top 10 music, so I know exactly what is the latest music. And what's so brilliant about that is not only am I not this middle-aged Luddite who rapid advances in technology has way overcome and left me in the dust, I am not. I'm in touch. I know what's going on. But also it means I can connect with anybody. So I can go into a room full of people I don't know, which can be terrifying. But I know I'm going to be okay because I have a lot I can talk about. I've got things that can be easily tapped into that I'll have in common with other people. So I can engage with somebody half my age just as easily as people who are my age. Because if they talk about the latest app, the latest Pokemon trend, the latest top 10 track or video or Instagram influencer, I know what they're talking about. I can even sing the lyrics along with them to that song. So be engaged, be in touch, reinvigorate, reinvent. You know, it's really, really stimulating. It makes me it helps me feel alive. And it makes you happy because you don't get bored of yourself, let alone anybody else. You haven't got time. You've got to keep up with those pile of magazines, newspapers, apps, podcasts, whatever. So that's my next tip. Number 5, do things that scare you every day or month or year, or challenge you at least. So every year I write a list around about New Year's Eve, New Year's Day time. And on that list, apart from financial goals or work goals or whatever, I will have something on there that scares me, or something new that challenges me. Learn something, you know, that use it or lose it philosophy that I've got. If you don't keep using your brain, what am I trying? Mind, brain, or body, mind, brain, same thing. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't keep using your brain or your body, it will atrophy, shrivel up. So do something that scares you. So on my list, for example, in the past, I've had learn to horse ride again, which terrified me. And I came up and off and actually broke my coccyx. Man, that hurt. I didn't sit down for like 6 weeks after that. Another one was learning Mandarin and getting to the point where I could sit an exam, 2-hour exam, and only do it in Chinese characters. Another one was run a half marathon for the first time. And I achieved all those things, even though they scared the hell out of me. And I didn't just do it straight away. You know, you can't. But break down things that scare you into manageable pieces. So, for example, when I ran a half marathon, I'd never run before. So I started with a never run in my life before couch potato to first 5-kilometer run plan. And little by little, I started walking. Then I started jogging badly, slowly, but I did. Got slowly, built up more and more and more. Before I knew it, bam, I crossed the finish line and got my half marathon medal. So life's like that. You know, when you actually face things that scare you, they're not scary anymore. And when you achieve them, God, you feel so good and so happy and alive. So there's all my 5 things that I do to keep me happy, keep me engaged, keep me alive. And yeah, the bottom line is love yourself. Surround yourself with people who also care about you, bring out the best in you, enhance you. Keep on educating yourself. Stay connected, stay in touch. Make yourself able to go and meet new people. Talk to anybody about anything, because you'll learn new things. You'll meet new friends. And throw yourself into life. Not just engaging with life, but scaring the crap out of yourself every day and every year. Because the more you do that, the more you grow, the happier you become, and the more alive that you feel. So that's it. That's my tips. That's all I do. And if I feel down, well, then I might just even take baby steps. I might just dare myself to put the feet back on the floor. If I don't feel good, make myself put some makeup on, blow dry my hair, put something nice on. Because if you can act the part, you will become it. So I hope you liked that video. If you do, please share it, click the like button or subscribe. And I look forward. Oh, thank you to the 2 people who asked me to post that. I hope it was the positive post that you were looking for, and you've learned a little bit about finding happiness and how to be happy now. I'll see you in the next video.